Join the movement of self-discovery and acceptance. This is where we strive for more satisfaction, success, and peace while eliminating doubt, frustration, and bitterness. Come along with me as we explore human design with real-life examples and permission to love yourself better. Are you ready to go? Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. How did you find human design? I'm always curious about people's stories around how they discovered this amazing system that has the potential to make things easier for us. I've always been curious about what makes me tick. I remember when I was in high school playing French horn with the Ohio State Fair band, and my parents came down to visit. We went to one of the vendor buildings, and there was a booth that read your handwriting and told you something about yourself. Do any of you remember those, or do you know what I'm talking about? I remember being so excited about doing this, and I remember my dad made fun of it. It was just taking our money, that kind of thing. But I was so excited to try it and to see, what could my handwriting really say about me? I remember specifically, it told me that I was creative, but that I had trouble finishing things. And all I did was write my name. But it was fascinating to me to see that the little things we do can really say a lot about us. At the time, I probably did have a little bit of trouble finishing things, or I wished that I could finish more. Like I remember starting to learn how to cross stitch. My mom taught me how to cross stitch. She sewed and knitted and crocheted and things like that. And she did some cross stitching. And so that was something she taught me. And I remember, I don't think I ever finished a project. I love starting them. And in hindsight, I don't think I ever finished a project. That's a whole nother conversation for another podcast. But over the years, I've been fascinated by personality tests and learning more about myself and to find ways to make life easier or communicate better. And one of the things that was always frustrating to me about personality tests is that they never knew how to answer. Like, am I answering these questions based on being in my job? Am I answering them based on being at home with my family? Am I answering them based on how I would act with my friends? All of that felt like it was, like it skewed the results. And I resonated with pieces of my reformer perfectionism when Enneagram Type 1 came up after I took the test, but not really all of it. And I had 4 different letters staring back at me every time I took the Myers-Briggs test. So some of it, is that conditioning? Is that the way that I was answering the questions? And did I think about one thing the first time I took the test and another thing the second time I took the test? So I'm sure if I analyzed that, it would be a little bit more clear to me. But, one of the other things is that there was negativity spun within the results or the outcome or the descriptions of the test. And none of that didn't really quite sit right with me. I feel like everybody has strengths and weaknesses, sure. But the more we can celebrate our strengths, the better, and really capitalize on those things. Well, so moving on, don't get me wrong. Like I said earlier, I've always loved little quizzes and tests that would tell me more about myself. And I even have a master's degree in Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences theory. But I've never felt so seen as when I learned about my human design. And I hear that from a lot of people. The thing I like the best about human design is that I don't have to take a test. I don't have to worry about the bias. It's all based on where the planets and stars were when you were born. So all of your conditioning from society isn't taking over your results. The key with all of this, though, is to do something with your results and the things you learn about your body graph in human design. When you learn about some of the characteristics in your chart, you'll probably feel very validated and nod your head like, yeah, that's me. One time I had someone say to me, "How are you inside my head right now?" Or, "How do you know so much about me? We don't even know each other." These are awesome moments, and I love celebrating people's self-awareness. If you felt this way too, then yay! I'm sending you lots of high fives right now. There are other parts of the chart that you might not resonate with, and this is common. Realize that just like those personality tests, maybe you don't resonate with it right now. And this could be a sign of conditioning from your friends, conditioning from family, or conditioning from society. The challenging part is accepting the possibilities that await if you're able to open your mind to a different way of walking through life, a different way of making decisions, a different way of communicating, or even taking care of yourself and others. So here's an example of my own conditioning from society and how I was challenged with a new concept from my chart. As a generator, we are here to respond to life, like waiting for things to physically come into our life. But society tells us to take the bull by the horns and go get what you want. Don't let anyone tell you what to do. Don't wait for someone to tell you it's time. This is how I ran my side business, making customized planners for people. I did pretty well, but looking back, I can see now that it was an uphill battle and I ran into obstacles so often. I could also see that the times my sales felt easy were when I responded to things, like a social media post asking about what planners people were using or how to organize their tasks. Now I'm continually reminding myself that I need to wait to respond to life and trust that what's right for me will show up. Human design is not a belief system, but rather a blueprint to help you live in better alignment and make life easier. Experimenting is a huge part of this and something I always advocate for when working with people. Every day I work to experiment with the things that will help me be more aligned with my true self and positive energy field. It takes practice and perseverance to build these habits and mindset shifts, but I can see the difference it's making in my life. If you're working on this too, but could use a little support, then let's work together. You can book a one-on-one session with me at laurabhipp.com. An initial awareness session will get you started, and then we can talk about ways I can support you through your journey moving forward. Either way, I hope that you enjoy the journey and you give it a chance. Until next time, happy exploring. I'm so glad to connect with you today. Please follow the show, forward it to a friend, and leave a review. Send me an email with how human design has changed your life, and I might feature you on the show. Until we meet again, don't forget to love yourself better.